Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron. Welcome to this edition of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. I have my wonderful co-host here with me today, Anthony Colancheco, and we're excited to be with Tracy and Jake Bailey from Locked and Loaded Junk Removal in Holland. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Well, we have never had a junk removal and hauling service on here before, so I'm excited. Personally, I think we were talking a little bit before the show. I've done a few demolitions, or what I will call demolition, on a house, and had some fun with dealing with hauling services. So glad to have some experts in here to kind of tell us how to do it the right way.
Well, thanks for having us.
So I guess before we start, for people that don't know, you guys are father-son duo. If you guys could tell us, a little bit about how you guys got into the business, personally, professionally, kids from here, moved here, kind of all that. So start there.
You can go first if you'd like.
Okay. Well, we moved here about 22 years ago from Alabama. I was in a sales job, worked in the injection molding industry, and there's a company here, I think it's called Altrista now, but they moved me up here to become a regional sales guy, and did that for several years. And I had always done work on the side. I have another son, and he has dyslexia and epilepsy, so we needed a little extra funding for his schooling. So I've done cabinetry. I learned to do cabinetry on the side, done a lot of handyman stuff, a lot of woodwork, built furniture. And in the process of doing that, bought trailers and did a little bit of hauling, and dabbled with junk removal many, many years ago, just for a couple of weeks, until my wife said, this isn't going to quite cut it. So anyway, and then I was in sales until earlier this year. And, and Jake came back from military, and he had a couple of corporate sales jobs as well. And we wanted to do something together. And we just thought about a few things that we like to do. We like teamwork. We like instant gratification. And I think I heard a previous guest say, if you're in Greenville and you've got half a brain and you're willing to work, the Greenville community will help you. And I thought, well, we've got at least half of that. So
that shout out. That was our test, Toby Stansel. He's
Toby Stansel.
Yep,
fantastic guest. He gave some wonderful advice on leadership and running a business. Really
glad you guys do it. What about you, Jake?
I'm Jake. I'm started the company, I think, in November, but born in Opelika, Alabama, but Greenville's home. Went to high school here in Simpsonville. Currently live out in Simpsonville. Graduated high school around 2010. Entered the Army. Was in the military for about 6 years. Once I left the military, I had some connections with some other fellow veterans, and one of them put me onto a sales job for selling Michelin tires. So I worked with tractor trailers, learned that industry with Michelin, different types of tread, how they work on trucks. And a few months after training, went to the sales force, went around that kind of Greenville, Greenwood area, sold tires, worked with trucks. After that, I got hired by Continental Tire, company out in Colorado, moved out there for a year, did that. We got bought out, and they said, all right, we're all done. So I moved back home, started my own business. Said
awesome.
I'm tired of
So veteran turned entrepreneur. I like it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service, man. We really appreciate that. All the veterans here in Greenville are fantastic. So really, really want to thank you for that
pleasure,
as well.
Man. Thank you.
So junk removal.
Yeah.
How'd you get into it?
Like I said, I had dabbled in it before, just a little bit, but we wanted something that, we didn't want a lot of capital expense. And it was something that it's pretty simple, and you deal with the public a lot. And those were all the things that we wanted to do. Yeah. So we just did a little research on it, and we already had a little bit of equipment. And so we just thought we'd take a stab at it. We studied the market quite a bit. It's amazing. It's a $75 billion market for the waste industry in America. And $10 billion of that is unwanted items, which falls under junk removal. So it's a $10 billion industry right now. And there's a ton of competitors here, even in Greenville, but it's a really, really growing market. And I don't think people think a lot about it, but there's a real demand for it. And we've really enjoyed. We have a great time working, meet a lot of good people. And the easiest part of it is actually the junk removal, the marketing and the sales, and generating the work's really been the most difficult part.
Yeah, so I know we were talking a little bit beforehand. So you guys obviously have the equipment to move the stuff out, so like, the trailers, the trucks, et cetera. Yep. But you guys also do some of the removal as well. So like, say if you had an older person or even somebody that just doesn't have time to do it, call you up, say, hey, I want this, and this gone. You guys come in, rip it up, take it out, do whatever, and haul it off, do all the handiwork and everything in between. Awesome.
Pretty much that's how it goes.
So you gotta be pretty strong for that, obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've had this week, actually, I think it's been our heaviest items. We kind of sat there going, oh my God, this TV, a TV from 1998 weighs 300 pounds.
It's like a box.
That was huge. It was the first HD TV. Anyway, it was extremely
Yeah.
heavy. But
So what's like a typical job look like for you guys? Is it typically like small items, big items? Is it kind of just everything in between? Is it more like, working with GCs and construction sites? I guess can you talk a little bit about what your kind of niche is in that area?
I would say when the first, and now it's becoming more of now marketing, all that's going into it as well. What kind of jobs, who we want to work with, all that. I'd say the majority of items are mattresses, desk chairs, random pieces of wood, sheds out back that need torn down. If you drive by any kind of neighborhood and the garage is up and you see it just kind of full of boxes and Amazon orders, that's a big majority of it.
Yeah.
Which is there's a lot of it out there, which is
Yeah, shout
still
out to my mom. My dad always gets frustrated.
Yeah.
She's buying stuff every
Yeah.
week, and he's like, "Oh my god, I cannot deal with another box." So
I've done a ton of just half a garage of cardboard just laying there, and then once they can't find the fridge anymore, and the shoes are somewhere, and it's all under that. They'll normally reach out because if you have a Toyota Corolla or something like that, or you're busy, you work from home, you don't have time.
there's no chance you're getting that refrigerator out.
It's real quick. Give us a call. We'll give you a quote, buy some pictures, or we'll stop by if we're in the area. 5-10 minutes. They go, hey, this is what we're trying to get rid of. Can you guys do it? Yes. Okay. When? This is our cost. Great. Normally we can get in there same day.
Wow, that's so same day.
Yeah.
That's one thing I was going to ask too. Like not calling out any landscapers or anything, but or any workers in general, but it seems like any kind of like small job over the last couple of years since COVID and people have kind of been doing their own thing. It's like almost impossible to get people to show up. I've had that trouble. I think Anthony has as well, where it's somebody's gonna come out and look at your HVAC tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes around like, oh man, he got called up. And the next day go, oh man, he's still not there. So I think that's one thing that sounds like you guys kind of value time and being on time and being there, which is something that's a big business proposition as well.
yeah, we really try to respond quickly, and we've averaged probably a couple of days a week working in the summer, especially working until 8:30 or 9 at night, just because it's tough to get the loads in, and you have to go and you have to get rid of the dump and all that stuff. So we put in some late hours, and we've done a lot of work for people that have either a death in the family, maybe they come from out of state, so they've got an entire house that they'd like to cull through and get the things that they like. Somebody people are really emotional sometimes in those situations. But overall, the biggest thing that we've noticed with everybody is a sense of relief. Even if it's a small job or a large job, some people have procrastinated for years. And one lady described it almost like going to therapy. When it was like
that instant gratification,
clean out all the clutter of her life, get in there and get that stuff out. So
yeah,
that's pretty gratifying. We also collect a lot of stories. So a lot of people just sit and talk to us while we're working, and it's some fascinating stuff. We have a good time doing that. So it's really a fun job. It's really, people think, oh God, you got to go out and haul people's junk away, but it's really, we've had a great time doing it.
Yeah.
Well, have y'all found any like hidden treasures yet? They always say one man's trash is another man's treasure. Have y'all seen that come to fruition yet, or is it normally trash?
Mostly one's man trash is another man's trash. But we found a little bit of like signed sports memorabilia.
Oh wow.
That was, and we went back to the people who had given it to us, and she didn't know where it had come from. She didn't think it was her. And it was Clemson stuff, and we found a Clemson fan and gave it to him. And he actually had 2 programs. He went to Clemson for the 4 years. He went to every game except 2 away games, and he did not have those football programs. These were mostly programs, and they were signed by different players in different places. But the 2 that he did not have were in that box.
Oh my gosh!
And
what are the odds?
One of them was signed. I think it was like Clemson and North Carolina State or Tulane. I can't remember. But William Perry had signed the front of the
refrigerator
one, so they were or his brother. I forget. Anyway, they were
either way. That's incredible. Like, what are the odds of that? Just
it was in the trash pile.
Yeah, I was at the dump, and I asked him. I know this guy. I just happened to say, "Hey, you're a Clemson fan. You'd be interested in this?" And his wife was like, "No, please don't give it to him." But he,
honey,
took
what's
it,
2 more magazines gonna hurt? Come on now.
Yeah. He said he spent the whole weekend with a friend that he went to school on the phone, going through these things, and just had a great time. But that's probably the most fun item. We haven't found the the $1 million lottery ticket or the Picasso or any of that stuff.
The Picasso that somebody accidentally threw away.
Got a lot of growth here in Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing you guys are super busy with movers and all that extra boxes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the work we do is people are moving from one. A lot of people are moving locally from one neighborhood to another, and we'll go in at the end of their move and get the stuff some people move themselves and they're pretty worn out, so we'll get that. And so occasionally we will move stuff that, instead of just getting rid of the junk, we'll take stuff and move it for them.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but some.
It's good to know I'm about to sell my house and I might need you guys to
Yeah.
come. And,
We would
Yeah, I was
love
gonna
to help
say,
you, but
yeah.
and my wife's away for 3 weeks, so I might
Yeah.
have you just sneak in there and take
Yeah.
some stuff.
Yeah, which happens a lot actually. They'll go, "Hey, my husband's on a business trip. Can you go in here and clean this garage out?" He said he's been doing it for a decade, so we'll get in there and knock it out.
Knock it out in a
we
day.
Yeah.
have a
Oh yeah,
lot.
in and out.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you guys mentioned that the Greenville. Do you guys mainly work in the Greenville area? Do you kind of go all over the upstate? I guess for our audience, where what's kind of your range of where you work?
We do, and you can go on our website too, and we'll give you guys the information, some cards and stuff. But Five Forks, Malden, Greenville County as a whole, and depending on what kind of work or volume and stuff like that, we'll go a little bit outside. When we first started, I was taking any phone call.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to get it going.
sure, I'll
Right.
come get it. Figure it out as I go.
Yep.
Same with, I'm sure how you started off. I just had a utility trailer and a red truck. No,
And a good work ethic.
I saw enough and read enough books to just figure out, hey, you got to go. You
Yeah.
just got to start, man. So that was my biggest thing getting into. I think it took me getting frustrated with myself for years, saying, I know there's something in this head and this body that I can do.
Yeah.
And I finally got fed up enough with myself to get motivated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Where I
does.
said, I'm just going to get in here. I'm going to go out. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to fail 100 times.
Yeah, you
but
got to.
it's turning. So it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, if you fail 100 times and you get one of them right, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
that one of them was what it took.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to hit on too. Is y'all are obviously a father-son team. You're
Yeah.
not super old. You're not old either, but
Yeah, yeah.
like you're a fairly young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah, 30.
can you talk about that and some failures you've experienced and some stuff that's kind of led you to
Yeah.
success that you've learned from?
Definitely. So that's probably for me personally, I always had a bug. I didn't really know what it was. Even working for companies, military, I always loved learning, but I didn't like going to school. Always loved hearing hearing stories of older guys, and always admired the construction guy in the truck with the crew of people. And I was like, how do these guys do this? How'd they learn how to do this? Because I didn't want to build anything.
Yeah.
But I think I didn't realize I had the bug to be an entrepreneur and my own business until the past few years, where I was working for a company and it's like, man, I kind of saw what I was doing on the sales numbers and how much they were making as owners and
Yeah.
kind of how you can control the pieces. And I was like, what? I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do that. I just got to find my own thing. I think it took a million from making beats online to cutting grass to working dishwashers to selling tires to being military, from doing different jobs in the military, living in different countries, to finally getting the courage myself to go, hey, it's not that hard. You can do this thing. And what if you fail? You fail.
Yeah.
I have a great family support system.
Yeah.
It really just took me kind of looking in the mirror and manning up a bit
Yeah.
and saying, I'm going to pick one thing. I don't know who said it or what book I read, but it said dive deep, not wide.
Yep.
So I said, okay, pick a thing. I have this much money right now in my account. This can make this much money.
Yeah.
And kind of sacrificed a few things and just went for it.
Yeah. And
So-
that's you sparked my interest a little bit, and it's kind of funny. I saw a meme the other day, which, listen, I'm not touting, working for somebody else, nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that.
no.
But working for yourself, and it was a picture of a gentleman talking to his boss, and he was in front of a Lamborghini outside or some
Yeah.
super nice sports car.
Yeah.
And the quote was, he's like, man, you've done really, really good this year. You've made me a lot of money. If you work this hard next year, I'll be able to buy another one. And you reminded me of that, because
Yeah.
it's like, you're making
Yeah.
this company all this
Yeah.
money, and it's probably not getting paid out to you how you
I
wanted.
mean, I had those moments.
Yeah.
I remember being on Augusta Road in front of our workplace, and no shade against I won't say but like, I remember seeing the boss come up. It was Wednesday afternoon, and he had the boat out front with the $100,000 truck.
Yep.
And he said, how's it going? I was like, I'm sweating. I have dirt all over me. All right, man, see you Monday.
Yeah.
And he's gone. And
Could
I asked
be
him,
better.
Yeah, and I said, who? They go, he's the owner of the company. He's here
Yeah.
every few weeks, and he goes to the lake. I said, okay, I gotta turn the page. I gotta be that guy one day.
No, that's
So
awesome.
That's the goal. So
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
how is it working as a father-son duo? Do you guys kind of work together? Is
It's
it
terrible.
Like,
Yeah.
Other than that.
yeah, I'm sitting here going, what are we doing?
Yeah. Is it y'all both kind of take separate jobs? Y'all work together on bigger jobs? I mean, I guess, how does that work?
We have different skill sets. One of the things that we do is we do demolition of small buildings and decks, pergolas, and that sort of thing. So that's sort of like reverse design. I used to design kitchens and build
Yeah.
cabinetry and all that. So just do that in reverse. So that's a little bit of my niche. But as far as the marketing, in the general day-to-day, we've just pretty much split it 50-50, and he picks up the heaviest stuff. So that works out well.
He's a little bigger, a little younger.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So is it just the two of you, or do you have other staff?
It's just the two right now.
Yeah, two-man show. But I mean, I would like to have
We're
grown a
close.
bit and get some, you know.
We're reaching our goals for where we are. We're at the point where it's time to get a little more equipment and hire a couple of people. So
Yeah.
we're on track to do that. So we're pleased with
That's
how
awesome.
things are
Oh
going.
yeah.
How's that work
Exciting.
on the business side? Obviously, we're both kind of in the finance industry. Is it kind of like learn as you go? Do you guys have a little bit of background in that, or is it kind of a little bit of everything in between?
As
No.
far as like just starting the company, or
Just
as
starting
the-
it and learn how to do who's paying for this, and how to buy this equipment, how to budget that. Is this job going to be this profitable? Kind of learn all that aspect.
For me, I would say
Excuse me.
finances, expenses, all of that's been sort of my weak point, not my strong suit. Jacob's a little better at that. But there's actually some programs, believe it or not, just for the junk removal industry.
Really?
We have a marketing company specific just for junk removal.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess on the marketing side, to actually get the jobs, they just kind of help you with like ads and making sure people can
Yeah.
find you on Google and whatnot.
Yeah, so they do which I've learned. I have a friend that made my first website. I remember I sat at the kitchen. We have 5 megabytes, or was it 5 megabytes of
It was
internet?
slow.
It was, you click it and it takes. And I was sitting there trying to get an LLC.
Yeah.
I'm like, how to Google? How to
Yeah.
Didn't know anything, man. So, but I knew we could do it. I just knew you had to reach out, and so much information out there now. Really not an excuse.
Yeah.
So, but I remember sitting down and finding this company and learning, what's SEO? What, how do you get on Google? Okay. How do you get up on Google? When someone types in this, so after months of doing that myself, and my friend that runs a web company, we found a marketing company that does that, and they definitely handle the Google ads, SEO, website management, where the ads are going, finding, narrowing down the search keywords, that whole nine. So,
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
you guys can just focus on
Yeah.
doing the money making
Yeah.
jobs and let them kind of
yeah, their
feed you
phones
the leads.
really help get the phone ringing. So,
That's awesome.
Marketing company. So, and ever since then, they've definitely helped out a lot.
That's
That's
awesome.
been good. Oh yeah.
Very interesting.
So we talked about the best stuff. What's the worst thing you had to actually haul or remove?
We don't know what it was. We
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
it was
You don't
it
ask
was,
questions,
it
right?
was
Yeah.
well, we fight a lot of. We actually run into a lot of snakes and wasps and things not a lot, but on occasion. But we did have one refrigerator that the lady was telling us a story about what had happened in her life, and she said what she was talking about how great her husband was, and then a little bit later she said how great her husband is, and then we were taking this refrigerator off that didn't smell the greatest, and when we put it on the truck, it had a little blood trickle out of it, so we thought we were contributing to a murder. But anyway, it wasn't that at all. It was just
So he wasn't in the refrigerator.
He
just to be
wasn't.
clear. Okay,
No.
cool.
Sound like a
No.
mob movie to me.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like,
That's what it
it's
felt
been real
like for a
annoying
while,
lately.
but-
and-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can go and take this refrigerator out and
Yeah.
get rid of it, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Bottom of the lake, probably
Here's
the
a
best
tip.
spot.
Here's $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'd say, that. I mean, really, I'd say more certain areas have had us kind of going, oh my, we might die, because that one job, it was a contractor job, or they were remodeling the house, and there was a guy inside working, and they demoed, I think, the whole kitchen or something like that, and put it on an outside patio, which happened to be on
on a deck. Yeah.
on a deck. That wasn't attached to the house that we found out. So, and I'm 250 pounds. And then us up there, and he said, hey, be careful. And he looked at the
it
boards,
was
and
just attached to the side of the house. Didn't have any support underneath.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
And we shoot a lot of videos and do time lapse videos. And as later as we were watching it, we noticed when and all the debris was out there too. But it was
The porch was like
sagging.
flexing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was on
no.
the third story,
Yeah.
so we could have.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could have been bad.
Yeah. We made it out. We're good.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I don't want to do this. I'll just put it out here, and
yeah.
you guys go for it, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
be careful.
Yeah, I'm not there. Just let me know when you're done. That's
Yeah.
kind of how it went. But it was good. I don't think, heavy TVs, heavy furniture. But normally we're able, the beauty of it is you can tear it down. So if
Yeah.
you have a giant cabinet and they're like, hey, we need this out of our house, you go, if you don't mind us breaking it down, they're, oh, no. However, so then
people are
makes it
so
easy.
relieved because they'll have years of accumulating this stuff, and we can, we can clean out an entire, imagine the size of a garage in 45 minutes. We can get that gone and have it, and we sweep up and blow and make sure it's
Make
all
sure it
clean.
looks good as new.
Yep.
And they are they're relieved. I mean, some of them, like I said, to the point of tears. They're just so happy. So that's a really fun part of kind of a just a labor intensive job.
Yeah.
Walk the audience, I guess, through the process. Once you get contacted, what's the process that they have to go through?
So they can find us either on our website or Google or Facebook, or now it's to the point where when we started and I was dropping off cards to everyone I knew and said, hey, I'm starting this business. Those calls are coming in. So if they get our phone number, they see us, they can give us a call. You're going to get me or Tracy. And it pretty much goes, hey, where are you located at? What items are you looking to have removed and when? So I try and on the phone as trying to be a good salesman and have a personal contact with everyone, kind of get them to paint me a picture so I can give them the most honest ballpark quote over the phone. And that's one way of doing it. And then another way of doing it is, which I would prefer, and I think you would too, is getting there in person. So they'll say, hey, we're on 123 Fairview Road. Can you come by for a minute and check out what we have? I'll stop by, walk through the property with them. They'll give me a time frame of when they're wanting to do it, their work schedule. I'll get on our app and see what's going on, and we can pick a time right there on the spot, or we can bring our equipment and quote it and do the job right there.
Oh, wow.
So if that makes sense.
You do same day
Try to
service.
make it-
if you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
Sometimes you can hear that, and we do try to talk to everybody. And I mean,
Yep.
I love texting and email, but we really try to talk to them because you can hear desperation. And as a matter of fact, and you do get this person was going through a divorce, and he was, he said, I've got to be out of this house today.
Yeah.
And so we changed. We moved another job, and we went and helped
Really-
them out.
Really
and,
help
and,
them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
And-
it's kind of I say like, it's not a 911, but they're like, we have 48 hours because
Yeah.
the property manager just called and this house is going up next week. They got to come put the new furniture in, and we have, 8 couches with cat hair on it, and they just moved out, or they didn't give us a notice.
Yeah.
And now they've, hit the road and they left a pile of stuff in the yard.
Yep.
There's 50 toys and there's 80 boxes.
Yep.
And then they don't have time to do it. The salesman or the real estate agent or the property manager or the contractor, they don't.
Yeah.
They have crews doing other stuff that's already been handed out for that day.
Yeah.
So
They're just trying to
that's
get it
where
done.
we really try to come in and help out.
That's awesome. Where do you see obviously it's a fairly new company. You guys have been very successful so far. Where do you see kind of the growth going? And I know you mentioned maybe adding some employees in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to kind of keep it small? You want to kind of expand? I guess, can you talk a little bit
It's
about that?
good question. I think we've been discussing that a bit. I'll go first and you can give your,
Okay.
unless you want to go.
No, go ahead.
It's already, I sat down the same night I was Googling the LLCs and stuff in November, which wasn't too long ago, 7 or 8 months ago. I wrote down, I think, just 3 main goals: get this kind of truck, get this kind of trailer, and make this around this money for the year. And we've already pretty much hit those
Oh,
in
wow.
about 6 months. So I see it, and this will probably change, but I'd say 2 or 3 dump trucks in the upstate rolling around within a year. And I'd love to hire some guys either going into the military that might need, because it's not a killer workout, but it'd be good. Maybe I can help them out, give them some tips while we work.
Yeah.
Help
them
out some
back.
guys that get out. Because if I could have found something like that when I was getting out, like, hey, you can work 3 or 4 days a week. We do this, do this pay structure. Because there's a lot of people kind of hurting right now. So if we can help some vets getting out, because
Yeah.
I've been in the shoes where you're really kind of confused, and if you can connect with another vet and work and make
Yeah.
a little money along the way, that's kind of what I'd like to do. But I'd say 2 to 3 trucks in the Greenville County rolling around.
Nice.
That's kind of what I see in my head. In the next year, and then maybe expand somewhere else.
Yeah. And one
go
thing
out
I heard too that I love, and it's kind of like the whole reason we started the show is just, connecting the whole community as one. And
Right.
I think that's awesome, for one, that you're a vet and you served, and for
Yeah.
2, that you're trying to get back. I have a really, really good friend that's a vet and, has a little bit of PTSD and stuff like that. And, just hearing his stories, I'm like, wow, if it's kind of sad that there's not more people like you or programs out there that, really try to give back and understand that, hey, these guys risked their life for our country and did really good. And then, they come back and we kind of kick them to the curb is kind of it's ridiculous.
I could talk hours for all that, man.
Yeah, so-
I'm real passionate about it, but because I've always been like, I'm fine, I'm good. I won't be one of those guys. And then 3 years down the road, you go, oh my God,
Well, it's
I'm that
tough.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and it's not everyone. Everyone adapts and handles different situations when while you're in. Some people can't wait to go back and do more. I loved it. I don't, had a great time, but it does affect you.
Oh, 100%.
So when you get out, having someone, that's why I was like, if it can be one guy, it doesn't matter. If I could help out, and he helped me too, I can always learn stuff. So, but I've met a few guys that are just got out recently and they're 23 and they did 3 years and they're asking me like, hey, did you go through this or that? I'm like, yeah. But if I could help those guys get a job too and work together and teach them some things, that's
that's awesome.
that'd be something I'm passionate about. I love those guys. So it's real.
Very admirable. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That makes sense. I
No,
think
it
you
didn't.
answer the question.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
No, that's
Sorry, stole your minute.
No, it's very similar. I was just looking more at dollar figures, and we wanted to first get to $1 million in revenue, which seems like a ton of moving a lot of junk, but it's really it's really not. You can get there not easily, but with in about 2 years, I think with 3 trucks, we can hit that number, and we'll probably have 6 to 8 people. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, big goals. I mean, you gotta shoot big. I mean, might as well.
Yeah, because the first goal I wrote down.
Yeah, I mean, you already hit it in 6 months.
Yeah, well, it wasn't some crazy $1 million, $500, but it was get a big diesel truck and a big industrial trailer that has a hydraulic system.
Yeah,
and we were 3 months in. It's like, let's go to the store.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
You helped me out.
Sometimes the small goals make you want to go.
Yeah,
for
our first goal was to get plywood to put walls on our
true.
utility trailer. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it was really
that's true.
simple, and
that was the real break it down.
and that
to
made a huge difference.
Yeah, I remember I was going through. We have an Instagram page, and I upload all that stuff and take all the pictures. But I think I was bored the other day, and I just went, and it hasn't been around that long. So, but it's still cool to look back. I remember I posted my picture. I was embarrassed. I was in my head. I was going, "You just got to do it," because it's, But now I'm glad I did it because it's just a red truck that I had a truck for 3 years, F-150, no super 2-wheel drive, with a 10-foot utility trailer with no walls, and I had like a few pieces of wood on it. I was like, "Hey, call us if you need us."
Yeah,
and then
I got the same truck except mine's gray. So
I love
right
it.
there with
I'm
you.
definitely. Yeah, I got a Ram diesel truck now. But I'm getting a Ford again.
Yeah,
I miss the inside of it. Yeah, I just
shout out to Ford.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
So our signature question, if you watched an episode, you might know what it is. What makes you tick?
Ooh,
fear. That's mine. That's easy. No, seriously, I was as a kid, I was a super shy. Some people are shy, some people are introverted. I was both. I mean, to the point I couldn't really carry on a conversation. So for years and years, I was a bartender in a way. I did all sorts of jobs to try to force myself to be able to sit here today, because there was a time in my life wouldn't have dared come in here. So I say fear kind of jokingly, but it's they'll think of fear of failure, fear of success. But I think both of ours, maybe not, but we love to serve, and we want to do something that makes us feel good and makes our customer feel good. Yeah. And this, some people, junk removal, not an exciting occupation really, or business, but there's some great gratifying parts of this business that I really enjoy, and I like working with Jake, my son. It actually has been really good so far. So I got to learn to like metal music better.
Get you pumped up for the job.
Yeah, that's good.
I'd say the same. I kind of talked about it earlier. I think, or what makes me tick, or what makes me not tired in the morning. I mean, and I've always been. I'm not a morning guy, so it takes me a minute to wake up. But I think
he's really not a morning
guy. No. But really helping people. I know it's a general answer, but I wanted to. Okay, I was like, what can I move at, or what am I good at? I'm not a psychologist. I was thinking, all these detailed things on how, all right, these doctors help people. I was like, I don't want to do 10 years of school.
Yeah.
But it's funny how helping someone with something like this that they're unable to do, and it's a friendship. They go out. I enjoy sitting down, talking with them, seeing where they're from. If their license plate says from Pennsylvania, I go, and you get to meet someone. They go, we just moved here. And, sure, we can help you out. But
typically everybody's pretty friendly. Hopefully.
Oh yeah,
everyone's pretty.
They're glad to see us show up. Really,
yeah.
And one of the most gratifying.
I know. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
But what's fun for me, like when we've gone out to eat or something, and to see, maybe an elderly couple, I'll hear, "Hey, there's Jake," and
Yeah.
they'll come over
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they'll say, you came over to our house, we did this and
Yeah.
that. And so that's a lot of fun.
That's
No,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And I was not expecting that. I was
No.
expecting to be like, hey, where are these junk guys at? Hurry up, here it is.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite. They're like, oh, thank you, you're here.
Yeah. They're
Hey,
so-
honey, they're here. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
But once we learned that, and we can really, bring relief. We keep saying it, but
And I don't, to toot our own horn a little bit, I don't think when two guys are coming to get their junk, I don't think they expect Jake and I to show up. Somebody that we act like we care about them and help them. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
we're just-
I wouldn't
we're
picture you guys as like. I mean, that's not like a terrible thing to say, but like
No,
I would
yeah.
picture you guys
No,
like y'all are like
No, yeah.
well
No,
educated. You're in the military. You guys had a bunch of jobs beforehand, and
Yeah.
y'all,
No, I totally
y'all
get
are
it.
running it like a business too. Like y'all are
Yeah.
obviously doing the handiwork as well, which is
Yeah.
obviously tough. You're starting out, but like you're running the business side as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
a-
probably
it's a
a
profitable
sigh of
business.
relief
oh yeah,
Mhm.
I
when you
totally
guys
get it.
show up.
Well, that's what I've had tons of people say that. You go out there, hey, and they say it in a nice way, like, hey, didn't.
Wasn't expecting you here.
I was like, what
The guy
I
that
was like,
started the guy that started 1-800-GOT-JUNK, which is the biggest junk removal company in the country. He's actually Canadian, but he was in a drive-through restaurant and saw a guy with a utility trailer that said, had painted on, like, let me get your junk or whatever. And he tells the story. He said, I think I can do better than that. And so he started 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This was way back, I think, in 1990. But it's a $300 million company, and all
Wow.
junk
Yeah.
they do.
oh yeah.
That's
They have
incredible.
franchises
Well,
all
hey,
over.
that's a good
Yeah.
goal for you guys right there. Then 300
Yeah.
million.
Hey, the way I looked, I was like, if I can just get a chunk of that,
Yeah, just a sliver. I'll be all right with
get
that.
10% of their calls.
Yeah.
we'll be rock and rolling.
No, that'd be
We'll
awesome.
all right.
Well, thanks again for coming on. Tell our audience, if they have junk, that maybe they want a job quoted, maybe they want to have you guys information for the future with people moving. What's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
So I'm Jake, and you can give me a call at 864-704-5248. I'm really good about answering it. If I don't, I'm really good about calling back fast.
Which is a very rare trait these days.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I went through enough service people where, like you said earlier, or they'll say, hey, we'll be there this week. I'm like, okay, what day?
Yeah.
Wednesday, what time?
Yeah.
So I'll say, hey, hey, we're coming Wednesday at 8 a.m. I'm going to always give you an hour courtesy call. I'll
Awesome.
text you when I'm pulling up, just because I've been on the other side of that. And I kind of like when they say, hey, we're coming up. If you're in the shower, if you're in the restroom, if you're outside, with
Yeah.
the dog, hey, they'll be here in 5 minutes. They'll be in an hour.
Yep.
So the phone number is 864-704-5248. And our website is lockedandloadedjunkremoval.com. And you can go on there and check us out. You can quote on there, or you can go through our pictures of jobs. We have all of our reviews. It's a pretty nice website we have. Has all of our service locations, our services.
That's the mainstay then.
That's the mainstay. Yeah, we're on
Awesome.
Instagram and Facebook and Locked and Loaded Junk Removal. And feel free to call with any questions, text,
Awesome.
pictures. If you go, hey, I have no clue, there's this weird
Thing.
wooden thing in our basement. We don't know what it is. Just give us a call.
Yeah.
We'll come over, check it out.
Awesome.
No problem.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again so much for coming on, and definitely see the passion for junk removal. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. I'm pumped for you guys. I think it's really cool. Like I said, that you're a veteran and trying to give back as well. And father-son duo, I mean, you can't beat that as well. So
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Really, really excited to see where it goes from here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys again for tuning in to this episode of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. Until we see you again, go out and make our community great. Thanks.